After Zhang Yi and his team got off the helicopter, there were no more orders from the headquarters. Zhang Yi understood that the next order would have to wait until the members of the Eclipse group appeared. The sea of fire in front of him had gradually died down. After all, the power of the napalm bomb could not last too long. The ultra-low temperature of -60 to 70 degrees Celsius at midnight was enough to make the flames disappear quickly. However, no one knew the location of the members of the Eclipse group at this time. I hope I won't be too unlucky and meet their main members. If that's the case, I can only choose to retreat a distance first, Zhang Yi murmured. He couldn't fight the entire Eclipse group alone. After Zhang Yi and his team arrived at the designated location, they had to make decisions according to their own will. Zhang Yi did not rush forward, but stood cautiously in place, observing all the scenes in front of him. The Jiangning Square had been burned into a dilapidated ruin at this time, and gray-black smoke rose into the sky. Zhang Yi asked Flower on his shoulder, "Flower, can you smell the breath of living people?" Flower's eyes swept across the ruins in front of him sharply. It sniffed and finally shook its head helplessly. Zhang Yi sighed and said, "Is it because of the fire?" Meow. After the fire, the smell became complicated, and it was difficult to distinguish the breath of living people from it. Chen Xiaoxiao and Peng Li came over. "Captain, what should we do next?" Zhang Yi thought for a moment and made his own choice. "Just wait here for them to come." Chen Xiaoxiao and Peng Li looked confused. Chen Xiaoxiao couldn't help but say, "Is there a possibility that we are here to encircle and suppress them instead of them encircling and suppressing us?" Peng Li said, "Yes. Is it appropriate to wait here?" Zhang Yi ignored them and began to carefully check the surrounding environment. He is good at long-range attacks, not close combat. Once he is attacked by close combat masters such as Daikoku Engine or Tsukamoto Nobunaga, it may be dangerous for him. About 0.01% of the danger probability. This must be prevented. So he had to figure out the environment here and then choose a safe position to wait for the opportunity to snipe. Using the Thunderbolt and the Origin Bullet, his range can completely cover the entire 5-kilometer range of Jiangning Square. Zhang Yi answered them casually while checking the surrounding environment. Don't forget, their intelligence gathering ability is particularly strong. I guess now they have known our location and have dispatched troops to deal with us. I am not familiar with this area, and they have the advantage of the first move, so I plan to use static to break dynamic. Zhang Yi's eyes wandered around for a long time, and then determined the location of his ambush, a burnt black commercial building. Zhang Yi turned around and gave orders to several people. "I will ambush on the roof, and your task is to protect my safety nearby." After Zhang Yi finished speaking, he opened the dimensional door without waiting for Chen Xiaoxiao and Peng Li to agree. "Liang Yue, you are responsible for protecting me closely." Liang Yue nodded. There was no need to say more about this matter. The two and Flower entered the dimensional door and appeared on the top of the building the next moment. Only Chen Xiaoxiao and Peng Li were left, staring at each other on the snow below. Why did he leave us here? Peng Li looked incredulous. What kind of captain is this? He is so irresponsible. She stamped her feet in anger. Chen Xiaoxiao raised her eyebrows and looked around cautiously, saying, "He knows very well that we are only in a temporary cooperation relationship, so he didn't intend to care about our ideas from the beginning. It's just that now everyone is in a dangerous battlefield. His approach is indeed a bit naive." Peng Li sighed. "Then what should we do?" Chen Xiaoxiao said, "Let's do what he said first. Leaving the group rashly will increase our danger." The two had no choice but to ambush around the building and wait for the people from Eclipse to come to them. In fact, their conversation could be heard clearly by the combat command center. Zhu Zheng crossed his arms and couldn't help sighing. This Zhang Yi is too cowardly. But he is very smart. This is indeed a good way to test the other party's ability. They all knew that Eclipse had a strong ability to obtain intelligence, but no one knew what this ability was. Zhang Yi chose to hide outside Jiangning Square and not take the initiative to attack. If the opponent can still clearly find their location, then it can be basically concluded that the opponent's ability is a terrible ability similar to the nature of prophecy. So, what are the other two teams doing? Zhu Zheng looked at the other two outer city teams. The people on Wu Shifang and Zhuo Feiyu's side also maintained an extremely vigilant attitude as they moved forward. Everyone knew that this operation was full of dangers and did not dare to have any carelessness. Wu Shifang and his 4 companions also arrived at the designated location. There was not much verbal arrangement between the few people. Compared with Zhang Yi's side, the people in other teams had already formulated a battle plan. After all, not everyone is like Zhang Yi, who is fully confident in his own strength. They need to plan a good team battle to ensure that there is no mistake. After entering the Jiangning Square area, the first thing to do is to reconnaissance. Mo Zhongning from Wu Shifang's team came out. His eyes were fixed on the large ruins in front of him, and then he slowly squatted down. He was wrapped in a heavy battle suit, and even his hands were covered tightly by the wide sleeves. But when he put his right hand on the snow, everyone around him clearly saw that his sleeves were shaking restlessly. A yellow light condensed in his palm. Then a gray rodent drilled out of his palm. Mo Zhongning, a release-type ability user, ability code name, Soul Beast. He can transform his supernatural power into different animals, and these animals are like his clones and can share the 5 senses with him. Wu Shifang looked at him and murmured in his heart, "It's really convenient to use supernatural beasts for reconnaissance, but since he is the leader of a force, his ability must be more than just reconnaissance. He must also have strong combat power." While others were curiously looking at Zhuo Feiyu, the small soul beasts in his palm actually crawled out like a gray stream of water. In just a dozen seconds, hundreds of them appeared. They stood on the snow and turned their heads to look at Mo Zhongning, with human-like light flashing in their eyes. "Go find them," Mo Zhongning said in a low voice. The soul beasts squeaked and then rushed into the burned square. Soon they disappeared in the ruins. Zhuo Feiyu's team did not have similar reconnaissance methods, but they had a veteran who was proficient in reconnaissance. Yu Zhengyang had been a scout for 7 years, so he was responsible for leading the way in front and carefully searching for traces of the Eclipse group. A certain area in Jiangning Square. 13 members of the Eclipse group gathered here. Although they were surrounded by smoke and black dust everywhere, they did not look embarrassed at all. It seemed that they had already taken shelter before the bombing. 12 people formed a circle, and in the middle was the middle-aged uncle Jinguji Seiichiro. He habitually pushed his gold-rimmed glasses and then took his hands out of his suit pockets. His slender and skinny index finger slowly raised, and a little golden light appeared on the fingertips. His eyes suddenly became sharp, and his right hand quickly moved in the air while chanting a spell. "When the soldiers fight, all the formations are in front of the line." Note: this is a wrong translation by Neon. The 9 secrets comes from Bao Puzi. The song version is, "When the soldiers fight, all the formations are forward," and the Daozang version is, "When the soldiers fight, all the formations are forward." The golden light condensed in the air and quickly turned into a huge golden pentagram. In Jinguji's eyes, golden light flickered in 1 second. As he pointed his right hand to the sky, the golden pentagram shattered and turned into tiny spells that went straight up into the sky. A moment later, with the location of the Jingu Temple as the center, a majestic mist began to spread around. In just a few minutes, the entire Jiangning Square was shrouded. The 3 teams discovered the abnormality at the first time and reported to the Combat Command Center. "I found an unknown fog. The coverage area is very large. It should be the people of Eclipse Moon who took action." Seeing this, Zhu Zheng immediately said, Everyone be careful to prevent the mutants of Eclipse Moon from taking advantage of the fog to attack. Without him saying more, the mutants in the outer city would be more careful themselves. This ability is not mentioned in the intelligence at all, Zhuo Feiyu said with a serious expression. Sure enough, they still kept a lot in the first battle. Veteran Yu Zhengyang said calmly, "This is just a trick to cover the sight. It is not offensive." In the other team, Mo Zhongning smiled coldly. The thick fog can block people's sight, but it can't block soul beasts. It's better to say that this battlefield is more conducive to my performance. In any case, the two teams were slowly moving towards Jiangning Square. On the contrary, Zhang Yi built a wall on the roof of a building at the edge of Jiangning Square, with no intention of moving forward. He just waited for the enemy to come to him. Zhang Yi said, "It all depends on when they will take the initiative to deliver it to your door."